All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. North American College Championship Day 2, coming at you live from Seattle, Washington. I'm Evans Clinchy, and happy to be with you to be broadcasting these second day games here from Seattle. We're going to be starting off with round 9 in just a few minutes, and looking forward to it. So, we've got a rotating cast of commentators going throughout the weekend. So, like I said, I'm Evans, and I'm joined this morning by Mike Frentz. Mike, how's it going? Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to this session, and especially this first game this morning. We got a humdinger of a first matchup here. Austin Shin and Dave Wiegand, a couple of former national champions going head to head. This is going to be fun. Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty crowded top of the standings. We got 4 players tied at 6-2, including Dave and Austin, along with Brad Whitmarsh and Colton Kaler as well, all 6-2. So very exciting race at the top of the leaderboard there. All right, looks like we're getting underway here as Austin draws his opening rack. He's got kind of a clunky one there. Both B's and the D and the M. Huh, okay. What can be done with that? Not a lot, it feels like. Or debt keeping BMR, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, DMRT. That leaf could work out if you draw a couple of vowels with it, but it's pretty risky. That's amazing. Dave is one of the best players in the game, not only at Scrabble, but at many words on his rack. So we'll have that to look forward to all morning. That'll be great.
Yeah.
So Austin taking his time. Looks like he's found debt and is going to put it down. Okay.
Seems like it can't be that far wrong.
Yeah. It looks like looking at the list of candidate moves right now in Quackle, and really the best choices are debt or exchanging. Neither one of those is super great. All right. So it looks like for Dave, it's going to be a short word with the Z probably for, 31 or 32-ish. I don't know why I said 31. You can't score 31 with it, but something like Zit would be 32.
Zit or Tiz.
Yeah. Austin's drawn the X, so it'll be interesting to see if there are any X hotspots opening up after Dave's play. Looks like probably not.
Yeah.
Like if you play Zit, you can't play Gox and IX. That's not a word.
Right.
So this kind of might be a weak X for Austin. We'll see.
Yeah. For my taste, Tiz would be slightly better simply because it leaves the S hook open for Dave's S.
Interesting. Okay, yeah.
I don't really see much in the way of other options.
Yeah. Oh, if he plays Zati, Z-A-T-I, then he's going to get burned by an X play because Gox would play, making Zo an X.
Right.
And it wouldn't shock me if Dave did consider Zati, just get rid of an extra vowel. Not that leave is the nuts necessarily.
Yeah, there's no good way to get rid of the U and the Z together, which would be what you'd ideally like to do.
True, yeah. Dave generally is a very fast player when he's got like an obvious star play like a bingo or something, but he can take his time on these moves like this. Or he does choose Zati, and I think he's going to regret that as it sets up a pretty obvious X bomb for Austin here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's looking at Gox, and I imagine we'll see that come down pretty quickly.
Yeah. But Dave has done what he wanted to do, which is to draw a bingo.
Don't call him Dr. Bing for nothing. Yeah, so he's got student and stunted on his rack, and we'll probably see one of those come down pretty fast.
Student stunted, untested through the E is less than that.
Ah, yeah. So he could play student or stunted forming is next to the I and Zati, but that's going to open the triple. And it's only 1 point less to play stunted horizontally underneath det or above det.
Yeah.
He'll probably go for the more defensive option if it's only 1 point less.
Yeah. Dave's an aggressive player, but he's not that aggressive.
Yeah. The difference between aggressive and crazy, it's a fine line there. Not that Austin has that amazing of a rack to punish an overly aggressive play. He's kind of drawing weird stuff. He's got roll borm, apparently, whatever that means. Dave kind of doing his sighing that he does when he's unsure about a move. Looks like he's considering a few different placements of his bingo. We're definitely going to see stunted come down. The only question is where. All right, it looks like above det is his choice. Looks like it's defensively pretty safe there.
Right. That should give him a reasonable lead here. But it
So
does
the
leave...
updates, it'll be 100 to 56. Apologies for the slow hotel Wi-Fi. Oh, that's not too slow. Okay, so it does update reasonably fast.
Yeah.
What does Austin do with his roll arm?
He plays room, which would not have been available had stunted been played underneath.
Ah, so yeah, I guess stunted was not as defensively strong as I thought. Okay.
And also, this being Dave Wiegand, master of the 9-letter bingo, you have to consider whether the ED at H8 would be more liable to be hit than the DE starting from H7.
That's a good question.
Austin goes ahead and plays room.
I will just say, in defense of Austin, he's also a master of the 9-letter words. Austin's got extremely strong word knowledge, even of the longer stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So this is probably one of the best matchups in the whole field in terms of our chances to see some really cool bingos come down.
It's not like we'll be seeing that with Dave's current rack.
Yeah, okay, probably not. I had to think about it a little bit. Like, does he have Tenacious or something? Yeah, no, not quite. Okay.
Could do something like Aeonic playing Zoa Axe.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's even better in the same spot. He has Unciai, UNCIAE. All those pretty overlaps. That's 41.
Yeah, that looks like the sort of star play that you just have to be able to find.
Yep. Oh, it looks like he's arranged his tiles in that order. I'm sure he's looking at it. Meanwhile, Austin's drawn a bingo, but I'm not at liberty to tell you what it is. I'm just kidding. It's Liberty. I'm not sure if it's going to play anywhere, but... Oh, it is going to play because Axel. Ooh! Uncia is going to open up the hook for Axel and Liberty for a whole bunch of points. Look at that. Yeah, Liberty would be 92.
I mean, you can't fault Dave's play. It just happens to not work out this time.
Yeah. The fallacy of the negative instance, I think they call that. Just because one play doesn't work out doesn't make it wrong. I mean, stunted is the same thing, right? Like, it looks like stunted is the right play, but he got hit with a heavy M play.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple times in a row. Oh, trilbies. That's also a cool word. But Liberty is the better play here. Oh, Austin finds that. Okay. Apologies if I'm just a few seconds lagging with this hotel Wi-Fi. I think some of you who are watching this are probably seeing that Austin has found Liberty like a couple seconds before I see it. But yeah, okay, it is coming down. All right. So 92 for Austin and the lead, 186 to 141.
Mm-hmm.
Well played game so far. I mean, these plays have been pretty much perfect.
Mm-hmm.
What to do now if you're Dave with these two O's? Let's see here.
Looking for a place to play out row or something along those lines.
Yeah. You can play it next to the I and Zati, making IO. That's only 20 points. It's not great. It might be a little bit too aggressive to play OW to the right side of Liberty. That's just going to open up all kinds of triple ward score easy plays for Austin. It is just, a straightforward equity play, but not great in terms of the defense.
There's a decent spot for Wu. ARTU, while not a great leave, is possibly the best you can salvage from this.
Yeah. Yeah, difficult board. Not a lot of great places to put this W. This is the kind of position where you might want to slow down and take some time and think about it if you're Dave. Dave has the benefit of knowing the words so well that whenever there's a straightforward play, like an obvious star play or a bingo, he can just play it instantly. And that lets him conserve time for the more difficult positions where you got to slow down and really think, such as this one, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just in terms of static equity, the best plays by far are things like Ow and Toe, just putting the W to the right of Liberty.
Right.
Those are pretty gross looking. You can play out row through the R. As letters in the triple lane go, W is not the scariest one. But I don't know if he wants to do that either.
Maybe something like out 1 to the N of stunted.
Oh, now you're talking. Okay, so that's a much better way to play the same letters without any defensive drawbacks. So Dave's looking at an opponent who just bingoed, so he's facing 7 random tiles. He has no idea whether he's facing a bingo kind of rack or a rack that just wants to score some points. As it turns out, Alston actually does have a very funky rack with the Q and the W, and I'm not sure what he's going to do. What's he going to do with that Q? I mean, I guess there's the open U and NCI. That's probably prime real estate for Austin.
Lines.
Sure, okay. Oh, Austin's got QOMA lined up on his rack for a possible Korma through the R and Liberty, I guess. Although that also is a scary triple opening kind of move. Maybe Austin just likes to arrange his letters in a weird order. I'm not sure. Waykoma. Maybe he's sending us a secret message of some sort. I don't know.
Yeah, forced to choose. I still think I like out 1, but Dave apparently going for the more aggressive line, banking on his opponent's rack being more random and hence possibly unable to use that spot. I mean, if he doesn't have an E, that spot's actually not the easiest to use.
Okay. You can still just play anything ending in a letter that goes next to BO, but it's not quite as potent for scoring that way, I guess.
Yeah.
As you were saying, Akwe through the U is an obvious way to use that Q, and that would be 32. And pretty reasonable.
And it will also block the bingo that Dave has just drawn.
Ooh. Oh, Aeronaut. Yes. Okay. I got there eventually. Yeah, nothing else but Aeronaut. If that gets blocked, suddenly his rack becomes pretty weak.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason the 5-val bingo list is the one list I study before every tournament, because if you miss a play from that, your next best play scores 10.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Looks like Dave can do a little better than 10. He does have auto with 4 overlaps above. Stunted would be 20.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not completely screwed if Aeronaut gets blocked, but he definitely wants to play it if he can.
So what other options does Austin have besides Aqua? Taking the triple would be something like...
Yeah, you can play Meow, or you can play Moa, M-O-W-A. Those are, reasonable scores and reasonable blocks of the triple, but you're keeping AAQ or AEQ. Pretty gross.
He's gone with Moa, which.
Oh, wow, he does. And that does not block Aeronaut. Lucky Dave. I'm debating whether to just go ahead and put Aeronaut on the scoreboard now or actually force Dave to. Okay, Dave's going to find it in about 1.6 seconds. Okay.
And down it comes.
After the scoreboard update, it's going to be 238, 218. Dave has reclaimed the lead by 20. And Austin continues to draw weird stuff.
Yeah.
Although, actually, he doesn't mind having the Q anymore because he's been given a pretty nice spot to play through that U and Aeronaut. Actually, he's got a few spots for the Q.
Yeah, Kant for 36.
Fakir into the R and Liberty is 34.
It might be important to clear one more clunker.
True. Yeah, kind of a lot to think about. A lot of Q candidate moves here. Looks like he's lined up QI on his rack. Or wait, where's he going to play QI? I don't see that.
I think he's lined up Fakir.
Ah, again, that couple seconds hotel Wi-Fi lag. There we go. Okay. Oh, the FA was already next to the QI. I'm just slow. I need more coffee. Okay. Fakir is coming down. All right.
34 to retake a 14-point lead. Dave's drawn the J and 2 S's.
You know, in a lot of sports like basketball, for example, they have the number of lead changes in the box score. Mm-hmm. If you had that for Scrabble, you'd have a lot of lead changes in this one already. They're just going back and forth, back and forth. You know, Dave took an early lead with that Z play in the bingo, and then Austin came right back, and then they're just trading punches right now, back and forth. Austin back in front by 14. What to do with this rack with the J and the S's?
Doesn't look like there's a particularly good way to use the J at the moment.
Yeah, just gins through the N and stunted is pretty boring, but it might actually be the best play. It's so tempting to look for something flashy and cool with a rack like this. You got all these fun letters, but there just isn't much in reality. You can play Hist, H-I-S-T underneath Fakir and just keep the J for later. But I'm not sure what you're hoping to get later.
Yeah. Either Hist or take out the triple up top with Sith.
Yeah.
Which scores better? 14. They scored similarly.
Yeah, very similar. His is 34, Sith is 33. And then Jin's, depending on how many N's you put in it, is either 29 or 31. So you're looking at a pretty similar score no matter what.
Annoyingly, there doesn't seem to be a way to use the North triple. That A is just in the wrong spot to really score.
Yeah. Like he's got Hajj, but it scores nothing because it doesn't hit the triple. Yeah. So Dave again taking his time here. As you can see on the clock, he's I would say using more time than usual. Dave, a very fast player generally, but he's had some kind of challenging positions to figure out in this game. Not a lot of, clear star plays. So he's taking his time to process these. And okay, looks like he's going to play hints instead of Hist. Wants to get rid of that N. Interesting. I'm sure he's got his reasons for that. Maybe he wants to turn over more tiles and try to draw. I don't know. Try to draw something.
Yeah.
It's also just more points. He gets 36 instead of 34.
Right.
Why not?
It does telegraph likely the second, in fact, almost assuredly the second S from Austin's perspective. But I'm not sure what he could do about it, given his rack.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like a lot of people talk about, you don't want to telegraph you have a certain tile in a certain situation, but I don't know how often it really is that your opponent can make a different decision based on that knowledge. Like oftentimes you just have a certain rack that kind of forces that you must make a certain word, and the inferences don't really change much. Sometimes the inferences do change stuff, but it just depends.
So Austin could play Reeve, Reave, to the North Triple for 36.
Looks pretty strong. Nice leave of NPR for all you public radio fans out there. Looks like Dave has drawn interesting letters. He's got the J and the K. I'm not sure what he's got. This will be interesting. But Quack will check and see. Oh, okay. So Dave has drawn JAAP, Jaap, through that A and aeronaut. So that's even more important for Austin to take out that spot before Dave can hit it. JAAP would be 48.
And
I don't think that's a word, Austin. Preventor. And he's going to quickly get challenged, it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't fault him trying it if he had some reason to believe it might be good. If it was similar to something else. There are a lot of people that, particularly if this were not 5-point challenge, if this were double challenge, I would like that idea a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough because there's a lot of words that take an OR like that. Yeah, preventer with an ER is good, but not with an OR. Yeah, it comes off. So Dave gets the free turn, and he does get his play of JAAP, Jaap, which I expect will come down.
And then once that does come down, that severely limits Austin's legitimate options.
legitimate options are going to be tough here. Let's see. If Dave were to play JAAP at 48, which would put him up by 70, and then, not a lot of good scoring options for Austin at all. Yeah, so Preventor, kind of a turning point here, as not only does Austin lose a turn, but give his opponent a chance to score 50 on his turn, and he's still stuck with this pretty marginal rack.
Mm-hmm.
Tough spot now for Mr. Shin, definitely. Dave definitely sees JAAP. He's got those letters JAP lined up on his rack. Not sure if he's just looking for something better that we happen to know doesn't exist, or...
This is the sort of rack where you're tempted to think there has to be something even better than the things you've seen, but...
Yeah. All right, so JAAP does get played. And also Dave, knowing his opponent's rack, knows that if he doesn't play there, then something like Reeve is going to hit him. So that's even more reason to play JAAP. All right, so he does. And he'll give Dave a 70-point lead now, with Austin kind of struggling with a tricky rack now. Looks like he's got Perv lined up. And that is indeed the best play, forming that nice new 3-letter word, ume.
Mm-hmm.
And Dave has drawn, I want to say sod-like is a word. No, keloid. It's not sod-like.
I'm pretty sure I have gotten away with that phony before.
Okay.
But
all right. Dave is smarter than me, so he knows
going to come down.
Yeah, there it is. And as CBB says in the chat, that's going to be GGTY, as good game, thank you, is pretty much all you can say at this point, as Dave widens his lead to over 130.
It's getting late early out there for Austin, as Yogi Berra used to say.
Nice. This one got out of control really fast. It was a very close game like last turn, and now it's a 133-point game. It's hard to blame Austin for trying the phony, though. It's a pretty plausible looking one. And also, I mean, it really would have swung his winning chances getting that word down. He was in a tough spot otherwise. So we've got 17 tiles left in the bag. Get pretty close to the sun setting on this one if it hasn't set already. Austin is going to play. Okay, Yeti looks pretty reasonable.
Yep. That's what I was about to suggest. But he beat me to it.
We did miss a really nice little board vision play because Perv takes a Y. He could have played just the E and the Y for DD, which is 31.
And plays one fewer tile to lengthen the game a little bit.
Yeah, you keep AEINR, decent chance of drawing something. Although Austin's drawing the blank anyway, so who cares? He'll be just fine.
Let's see. Yeah, Dave. There's not a ton of bingo threats to worry about. There's the A of chops, the R on the left side, something hooking AH down at the bottom, but he's ahead by enough that as long as he keeps scoring points, he should be okay. So I'm seeing something like Fugle through the U of Aeronaut. Which is what it appears he is playing. And we appear to have lost Evans for the moment, so Fugle...
I was on mute, I'm sorry. I was just saying that, yeah, Dave does play Fugle and it widens his lead to 150. I muted for 1 second to take a sip of my coffee and then I forgot that I was still on mute. That is my bad.
So...
It's the great paradox of human life is that you can't function without caffeine, but you can't function with it. It's hard. All right. So Austin has his rack of, what is this, Aeronate, but is there a spot for it? Looks like no, right? Yeah. Also, Aeronate's not a word. What am I doing?
Near appears to be the only 7 on the rack, and that
Aha, there you go. Not a lot of fun here for Austin. Just kind of.
So maybe something.
I don't know what to do with this. Let's see if the computer can help.
Something like SEA down at the bottom. Throw open another line.
Yeah. Oh, there's also, you could play EAN underneath hints, making AHA and QIN. And that, yeah, that's exactly what CBB is pointing out in the chat right now. That's a way to score decently, 22 points, and also open up a line. But you're just down by so much. You're basically playing for spread at this point, which is interesting because of the players who were tied for first place at 6 and 2. Dave already has the best spread, and Austin already has the worst one. Dave is 6 and 2 plus 692, and Austin is 6 and 2 plus 62. So already hundreds and hundreds of spread points behind, and this is not helping.
So in these, you're thinking about spread already, even at this.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I mean, it's an interesting format for the tournament, right? Because we have a 4-player playoff at the end of 24 games. And so all you need to do is stay in that top 4. And I feel like a lot of times in tournaments like this, there is kind of a logjam of players in like that kind of 3rd, 4th, 5th place range that are kind of all have similar records.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing that spread's going to matter quite a bit. That's just a guess. We'll see what happens. But certainly if you just like win more games, that works too. And both these players are familiar with that strategy.
So Austin went with Aina or Aina.
Right. Yeah, who knows? I can't say words. Let's go with Aina. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
And not a great rack for Dave here. Just get something like Dive or Hive in the top left corner, I guess.
That gets in the way of the A, as unlikely as that might be.
Yeah. Oh, it turns out that it's not that unlikely at all because of as Adam points out in the chat, Aurorian is what Austin has drawn through that AO top.
Mm-hmm.
Austin with just 315 as we get pretty close to the end game here. I haven't seen him have this low scoring of a game in quite a while. Of course, Austin's catchphrase of scoring never stops comes true most of the time, but it stopped quite a bit here against Dave. Not sure what Dave is thinking about here. There just isn't much to do with this rack. Maybe he's just desperately hoping for some star play that he hasn't seen yet. But yeah, there just isn't much. Something like dive or hive in the top left is pretty much the best play he's got. Interesting that the unseen tile pool is actually very strong. Nice balanced consonants and vowels, bingo prone. There's even a blank in there.
Yeah, which might be leading him to look for a way to block the likelier looking line of the R, which is what he's just done by playing G8.
Ah, there you go. There are definitely other ways to bingo, as Austin does have one of Aurorian up top. There's also, AH at the bottom could be hooked. So there are ways for Austin to do some stuff for sure.
To at least mitigate some of the damage to the spread here.
Yeah, some of it, yeah. So Aurorian is the clear best play here. It scores 70. The next best plays score about 15.
And the second 5-vowel bingo of the game comes down.
Illustrating your point from earlier. If you don't know your 5-vowel 8s, it is a very, very big equity hit. Austin knows them, though.
So this should empty the bag if we're counting correctly.
Yeah, it looks like Austin's going to draw the last 5 of scone, which I'm kind of hungry. I can go for a scone. So the score is updated on your screen right now. It is indeed 472 to 385. Austin's cut the spread to less than 100. Good job. There's a lot of honor in losing to Dave Wiegand by less than 100. I'm not even joking. Like, it's hard to do.
As someone who has plenty of experience at doing so, I have to agree.
Looks like it's going to be pretty close to 100 after this endgame is played out. I'm just kind of calculating that. Yeah. Okay, well, Topai takes a C for topics, so Cones is going to score pretty nicely for Austin.
Best I
looking pretty hard to block.
I see offhand is something like Vined under Aurorian.
Yep. Oh, that's very nice. 28. I'm going to go ahead and cheat and ask championship player. And yeah, Vined is the best play, even though it lets Austin go out with a very nice scoring play of Cones and topic. You could block the hook on Topai by playing Hived, but that's not worth it because Austin can score nicely elsewhere anyway. Mm-hmm. Oh, as CBB points out in the chat, Econs scores more. Okay. Wait a minute. Econs is an award. What are you talking about? I see my co-director is trolling me in the chat. You hate to see it. It's hard to keep track which abbreviations for school subjects are valid words. Like, I think they added chem for chemistry, right? Right. But I don't know. Econs was very plausible. Why isn't it a word? It does seem like a word. I agree.
It also feels like one of those words where econ would be good, but it wouldn't take an S.
Oh God! Now you're killing me. All right, so Vined puts Dave at an even 500, and clear best play here is just Cones and topic for 23 and out. I'm assuming we'll see that come down at some point here. Austin taking his time though.
Ideally, sometime in the next 11 minutes.
Probably, you'd think. So we're just wrapping up round 9 of the NAC here. We're coming up on round 10 in a little bit, and we're going to have, if I can just double check my pairings here, yes, Colton Kaler and Peter Armstrong coming up next here on table 1, so that's going to be a fun matchup. Colton currently in 3rd place at 6-2 with a pretty good spread, and Pete is in 5th place at 5-3. Two local buddies of Dave Wiegand in Portland, Oregon. I'll just put a plug for Portland as probably the best Scrabble city on the planet Earth, but I'm biased. I lived there. Lived, past tense. Oh, Deeds is the play from Austin. Huh.
Counting on Dave not.
Oh my gosh, Deeds is the best play. Okay, I should have checked more carefully. So Deeds keeping CON. Dave can't go out with his L and his T. And so then Austin gets to play con.
Okay, topic. So, yeah, that's what he was taking so long to verify, is to make sure that A, that Dave couldn't go out, and B, that this sequence did better than just going out.
And that is why Austin is 6-2, and I am in the 34th floor of the hotel doing commentary instead of playing. Because he's good at this and I'm not. I wonder if Dave realized that he can't go out with his L and his T. He might have not even bothered to check because he just figured that Austin would go out. It just kind of seems obvious that you have an L and a T, you can go out. Like, why even bother checking that? But turns out he can't.
Yeah. Or he just like you said, counted on Austin just going out and didn't realize that he could split the plays and make up a little bit more spread.
Yeah. These guys are sharp. And as I was saying earlier, I think every spread point matters. And I think these guys just might agree, as they are maximizing this end game, even in a obviously decided result, winning and losing wise. All right, so Gil for a mere 5 points is sadly the best play. Everything else worth either 2 or 3. Hilariously, Dave only has 9 possible moves on this board. I guess 10 if you count passing. All right, so now I think we're going to see con, and we do indeed see con very quickly. Bringing us to a final score of Dave Wiegand 505, Austin Shin 425, an 80-point win for Dave in the end. Pretty admirable effort for Austin to fight back and only lose by 80 after Dave jumped out to a pretty big advantage middle game there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, really no two ways about it. You got to just say that Preventor was the turning point in this game. Austin getting a little bit adventurous, trying a phony 9, and that backfires against the man who knows all the 9s.
Exactly. Like I said, there are players against whom I would try something like that, and Dave is not one of them.
Exactly. Looks like Dave is on his phone. He's either putting in the result of his game or he's checking the validity of some 9s himself. But yeah, this was a great game until it just kind of falls apart for Austin after the phony 9, unfortunately. But yeah, Dave gets the win, improving to 7-2. He's going to remain in first place. And just checking the scoreboard quickly to see if there are any results coming in. No, so it looks like we're still waiting on the results from Brad and Colton and Pete and the rest of the top players in the standings. But Dave Wiegand improving his record to 7-2 with a spread now of almost 800. Very strong start for Dr. Bing in this tournament here. We're going to take a quick break, little coffee break and whatnot, and we're going to come back in just a few minutes with the next round of the tournament. Don't go anywhere because we're going to have Peter Armstrong and Colton Kaler coming up very soon here from round 10 of the North American College Championship from Seattle here. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll see you in a few minutes, and talk to you soon.